Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Mantra After Hours, the podcast where we speak on offline conversations on PR, influence, and business. If you don't know me, my name is Praline, and I am the Managing Director of Mantra Publicity, and today's episode is one I am exceptionally excited about. Today, we are joined by Melissa Pardia, who is a PR and communications professional who's deeply immersed in the evolving world of media, personal branding, and modern PR. Okay, so today we're talking about two things every marketer, founder, and professional thinker is thinking about right now, and that is AI and adaptability. How is AI reshaping PR? How can we work with it instead of fearing it? And why being multi-skilled has almost become a job requirement in marketing. Melissa, welcome to Mantra After Hours.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It's so good to finally have you. We've chatted about this over the last couple of weeks, and today it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Fun fact, guys, if you didn't know, Melissa and I actually worked together previously on an account that almost broke me in half as a person.
No shit.
We worked on SAA when it was going through the most years ago. And that was Crisis Communication Training 101.
Hell yeah. We've got a little inside joke going, and we always say that we're the Goose and Maverick of SAA. And I mean, if I tell you guys, the personalities are the same, exactly the same. Yeah. And like we rocked and rolled exactly like Goose and Mav. So Goose, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, Mav. SAA was a challenging account, right?
To say the least.
It taught us a lot.
Yeah.
And Melissa was actually my manager, believe it or not. She was my boss. She led the train. She drove the train, and very well at that, let me say.
Well, with a calm, little calm undercurrent, but it was 100%. Crazy on the outside. I think if you're a budding PR professional and if you really want to get crisis and reputation, go work for an airline. Put some hair on your chest.
Of course, yes, especially SA.
Totally.
Okay, so Mel, let's get into it, right? So today we're talking AI and adaptability in PR and marketing and what that looks like for us 5 to 10 years from now. We've obviously worked in PR for decades, and we understand what traditional PR is and where it all started. However, today, PR looks very different, especially with the integration of digital and now moving one step further into AI.
Absolutely.
So I want to know from you, AI is everywhere right now in the headlines, workflows, job descriptions, and honestly in people's fears. A lot of people are very tentative to start just using, even if it's just ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So from your perspective in PR, how has AI already started changing the industry?
I think it's fast-tracked things quite rapidly. I think that it's come in as this big disruptor, and people don't know how to use it, when to use it. How do I actually plug into this tool and make it function for me and for my clients? So it is still a bit of, a disruptor and in its early stages, despite its rapid uptake. And I think that what people need, or what professionals need, is just clarity on how to use the tool. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of, trepidation surrounding it, lack of courage, whatever you want to call it. But I think that if you know how to tap into it, it could actually become your best friend in the professional world.
Yeah. And what do you think people are misunderstanding about AI?
I think that there is definitely a misunderstanding, and I think that misunderstanding is rooted in fear. And you can't move forward in anything if you are held captive by fear. A lot of people feel that it's here to take on their roles, it's here to replace them. Have they chosen the correct vocation?
And I think the misunderstanding comes in where people, like you said, they fear that it might take over their job roles, right? But I don't think it is necessarily that. I think it really is using AI to elevate what you do currently.
Absolutely.
And therefore offering your potential employer so much more. You come in with the AI skills to, speed up productivity, get your work done faster, elevate what you're currently doing, but still doing your role. So I think that's where the misunderstanding is. AI it's honestly a world that is ever changing, and we ourselves don't even fully entirely know what it means for us in PR, but there is a lot of misunderstanding on its capability and how we're able to effectively use it going forward.
Absolutely.
And where do you see it being used most effectively right now, perhaps when it comes to PR in specific?
I think For me, it's a really great tool to streamline laborious tasks, if I can call it that. For example, contact reports. I mean, it is the bane of my existence to actually sit and think what you've said in a meeting. Like, how do you transcribe this? Where if you put rough notes into a Word document and you put that into an AI tool and you give it a prompt to say, turn this into a contact report, or even a transcription that you get from Teams, you can't, obviously that's AI in action, but you can't use that as is because it still needs to be refined. 100%. But if you take that transcript and if you put it into a tool like ChatGPT, for example, it will turn it into a contact report for you. It eradicates all the labor from your tasks. So that's where I see it working most effectively. I think if you can automate some of the really, horrible tasks, then you've already won in that way. Yeah.
So more on like the administrative side of PR, because believe it or not, there is an immense amount of mundane tasks that we do in PR, apart from just like the super powerful job that PR is. Yeah. So I do agree. Yeah. I think there is a lot more room to development. I mean, can we just get a tool that like does media lists for us?
That's actually a great idea, because I had a team session with a very well-known media list person not too long ago, and I sat there and I was like, how long is this hell going to continue on for? We're like in 2026. Can these things not happen faster? And I think that's one industry, the database industry, that can certainly tap into it. There's so much data. I mean, people talk about the POPI Act and they talk about, personal protection of your information, but is it really protected? I think the media's information is out there regardless. And I think that if there is a database company that can really leverage AI to turn it into a media list database function, that would be super helpful. To a PR professional, absolutely.
Especially because like media are always moving around. They're always changing their job description. They're always moving media houses. They're reporting on several different things. I mean, that's something I've also seen recently is that prior, I mean, your financial journalist was your financial journalist. And now they're writing on several different topics as well as topics within their own capacity. Yeah. So you don't really know, especially in our industry at Mantra, when it comes to our clients, it's very much beauty and personal care, but it's very difficult to kind of pinpoint who exactly. I mean, there are a few, but there's also a few that write across lifestyle, they write across food. They're doing several things at once.
Totally.
And we're going to jump more into that in part 2.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so there's a lot of concern that AI will replace jobs. Okay, so we've touched on this, especially junior roles. Yeah. Do you see AI as a threat to PR professionals or more of a tool? So we've spoken about this, but let's dive more deeper into the junior roles, like your AEs, your junior AEs, even kind of maybe your account managers. Yeah. Where do you see AI fitting in them, and would it take over their jobs, do you think?
I don't think it would take over their jobs. And I think in PR, you've got to start somewhere, right? So when you're starting at an entry-level job, the things that you're going to be required to do would be things like media lists, the contact reports, like taking care of all the admin and freeing up the strategic PR professional. So if an AE is smart enough to tap into the power of AI, they can certainly use it as a partner in their everyday role. And if they use it effectively, that can help them fast track even quicker to the more senior role above. So I definitely think the fear needs to leave, and I think that people need to be more confident in using the tool. Just play around with it and see how it goes.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. I was like, back in the day, being an AE, it took you almost like 1.5 years or 2 years to move up, and you had to really prove yourself to become an account manager. But with the interception of AI, I think you can learn so much faster about strategy and implementation and how things work, and thinking above what your brain capacity is able to think on, like when it comes to creative concepts and campaign ideas and press release writing. I mean, I definitely don't think you should get ChatGPT to write your press releases, but you can definitely put it in there and learn how to write better and get prompts that teach you the different angles or what's currently trending. I mean, I use ChatGPT quite often to understand what is trending within that specific topic that I need to write on. And it is, because it kind of just like does like an overview of the internet and tells you everything that everybody's talking about, and you get like a 360 viewpoint of something that would possibly take you maybe 3 hours of research to do.
Absolutely. So that's one smart way to use it. Coming back to your earlier point about content writing, I don't think that you should rely on it as a tool, because I think AI generated content for me personally, because I've been writing for so long, is so easy to spot. I mean, I've looked at articles that have been published on, credible news sites that I can just see the journalist took ChatGPT and wrote an article and had it published. And that is such a waste of your time. And it also paints you in a very bad light, because the experts can tell things like colons in the headline, using the word like foster. You can see, you can tell. Also the subheadings, it doesn't flow like a conversation should be flowing.
Yeah.
I think an effective article reads like a conversation, because at the end of the day, you are communicating with another human. You're not communicating with another AI tool. Perhaps that's going to work in the world of robots, but it certainly doesn't work with humans. And you can pick it out, and you actually lose respect for the media and for the person who's put the article out.
Yeah.
So use it, but be smart about it. Like come back to your earlier point about prompts. Give your tool clever prompts, in the sense like, okay, remove the headlines, sharpen it, make it more editorially sound, and then review it and see if it aligns with you as a person. And if it does, and if that's something that you would say, and if that's how you would speak, by all means, use it. Don't allow a piece of content to not sound like you. It's very clear to see.
Yeah.
And
that is a conversation that's currently happening in and amongst like marketing and agencies, and especially when it comes to social media copywriting, because now it's so easy to just get chat to do your captions. And the conversation is that, yes, it can hit your tone 100% on point, but it doesn't resonate, and it doesn't land the way you want it to land. It kind of seems unauthentic when it's written. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've noticed that Netflix has also their little bios under each movie is written by AI.
I've not been on Netflix, but I'm certainly going to go check this out.
Yes, and I mean, the way you pick it up is obviously those very long hashtags in ChatGPT, but I mean, goodness gracious.
Wow.
So on that point, I mean, do you think journalists should fear AI taking over their jobs?
I think that they should fear it if they're using it as a crutch or something to rely on, because then it's going to take your job, because you're actually training the human now to look out for content that looks like AI generation. And like, this is a separate topic altogether, but I think that actually contributes to a further dumbing down of humanity. So if you really are intelligent, don't be scared of it. Be scared of it if you don't know how to use it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Hit the nail on the head there now.
Yeah.
And then on that, where does human insight still matter the most? So we've obviously spoken about it when it comes to journalism, but in marketing and PR, where do you think people still crave that human connection?
Yeah. I think AI is not going to take your job when it comes to things like media relationships, right? In order to generate a sound media relationship, you need to pick up the phone, you need to take that person out to lunch or coffee, you need to form a relationship with that person so they know what you're about, who your clients are, what type of content you're putting out. You can't rely on ChatGPT to do that for you. So, and also in terms of like customer relationships, I mean, often in PRP, you'd know this, like dealing with issues and crisis. When a client is flustered and upset, you need to be that person that brings them down, calms them down, helps them to see a clearer picture. AI can't do that for you. A human to human can do that. So I don't think that it's going to take over things like that. You still need to talk to a human. I mean, my clients, I pick up the phone to them and I speak to them about their personal lives, because I truly do care about their personal lives. And I want them to know that I've got their back, and across all fronts, not just when it comes to, getting a holding statement out. They need to know that I understand them as a person and I care about them and the work that they're putting out. And I think that's something that's starting to be a lack in the PR world. I can see it, certainly can see it. And I think we need to step up in terms of our human relations now.
And on that, I mean, I just want to deviate a little bit. I did a interview last year, and in this interview I was told that you'll always remain a small business if you do exactly what you said, like speak on the phone with your clients and engage on a personal level and give them time outside of even work or their retainer or their hours or what they pay you. And I think it's very difficult for people who aren't in PR to understand that PR is relationships.
Absolutely.
And it is reputation and it is what you build over time.
Yeah.
It's not a race, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we do, what we were taught back in the day when we started PR. It's about that giving your client that guarantee and that comfort knowing that you have somebody who fully understands your brand and you managing your reputation in the public space.
Yeah.
So I think that AI will never replace that.
No.
It's not able to do that.
No.
And then on that front, I also think that AI can never replace the core functionality of what PR is, and that's telling your brand story. AI is not going to understand where you come from, how you started this business, or over the course of 50 years, so it is a really big corporate. What is your brand story? And it's telling that to the audiences, to your publics, to make it resonate, especially in today's, can we say, business and consumer market. People are so smart when it comes to identifying hard sales and hard pushes. They kind of tap out. So it's forcing us to become a lot more creative in the way that we do TVCs, in the way that we write press releases, in the way that we manage events and communicate with media and influencers and public speaking engagements. People don't just want to know what your brand is anymore.
No.
They actually want the story. They want the emotion behind it.
Definitely.
And AI doesn't do that.
No.
So that is why I completely agree that we as PR professionals and social media people can use AI to elevate, but it will never ever take the role and the emotion that we give, the blood, sweat and tears that we give to our clients all day, every day.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part, I think, of the industry that we work in.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you think PR professionals can start adapting now instead of waiting to be forced to adapt later?
Yeah. It's a very interesting question, that, because I know of a company that when AI came out, it was banned. You're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to use it. Stay away from it. That, this doesn't make us authentic. And then push came to shove, and then they were forced to start adopting AI because that was just where the market was going. And so as part of that, they invested in their own tools, and now they're getting their people to use it more. So I think if you stay ahead of the curve, the thing that I've learned in my life is that and this is something you always say as well, but like, always trust your gut, right? Go with your gut feeling. When I heard that companies were saying to their staff, don't use it, instantly my gut went, are they mad? Because they are going to get left behind. Not good. So stay ahead of the curve, foresee something coming, and then think about how you can use it to your advantage. Be selfish in that way. And it will stand you good, So just don't be scared to use it.
Yeah, I think AI has had a little bit of a hard time when it comes to a lot of people adopting it. But I think you are right when you say that you cannot ignore it.
No.
Even in your personal capacity, if your company doesn't want you to do it, by all means, okay.
Yeah.
But you need to develop, because we know that, when did Instagram come out? We were all like, oh my God.
What is this?
Posting a picture, never. And then it took some time. I remember when stories came out.
No.
I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Me posting stories and tagging, it took me a little bit of time to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And now it is everything.
Yes.
If you are not posting a story, who are you?
Yeah,
Exactly. So the idea there is that if you don't jump onto it now,
yes,
you will be left behind.
Absolutely.
And you will not be relevant anymore. And that is very dangerous. You probably might not have a career after that. So that is the thing. Adapt it in any way, shape and form. I know that when I'm scrolling on my newsfeed, whether it is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I will always get something that prompts me to learn more about AI. And there's honestly an endless amount of apps and tools and workshops and masterclasses and things that you can do and learn to elevate and use in your personal life
100%.
On AI. So I think the message here is that just start.
Just start.
Just do it.
Just
like
start.
Mike says, just do it.
Yeah. And when it first came out and it could start generating images, my sister and I, we got very creative with it, and we took all our jokes, and we put it into images, and we said, create an image for a bakery using a crusty foot as a sourdough loaf. And it came up with it, right? And we all had a big laugh. But the thing is that you start somewhere, even to humor yourself. We did it to humor ourselves. And I mean, look at us today.
Yeah, look at you today. So on that note, how do you personally use AI? We know now in your personal life for your jokes, but in your work life, how do you adapt to AI?
Yeah, I use it quite a lot for reporting. I do. And writer's block is a thing, so I'm not going to lie about that. There's sometimes where you can't put one foot in front of the other. So while I still do my research and I still write the content, sometimes I'll put a prompt into ChatGPT to say, make the sentence make sense to me because it's just not coming out right. It's my sentence, but I need it to sound like me.
Yeah.
And so it will help me with that. How else do I use it? I think in terms of images, I think I was playing around with meta images the other day and I thought it was really cool. I think the tool itself still needs to go through a lot of refining in order to look more human, which is its ultimate goal, right? But I think I use it more for automated tasks like contact reports, status docs sometimes.
Meeting notes.
All of that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us PR professionals to discover AI a lot more and really understand the capability of it and what and how we can actually properly adapt it into what we do every day. And maybe there is opportunity to not just do the mundane tasks, but also do bigger stuff.
Absolutely.
We see it a lot in social media as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also where this is also a separate conversation, but like, will the AI influencer replace influencers today? And I mean, that's a topic we'll definitely dive into Mantra After Hours at a later stage, but that is how far we're taking this conversation.
Yeah. You know, interestingly, P, I just remembered something. So a big part of our job as PR people is to do coverage reports, right? So every month you get an Excel tracker and you put all your clients' coverage in there. What I started doing, and even like I've got to understand what content's going out and how it's being interpreted. I will take that Excel tracker and I'll put it into a tool and I'll say, analyze this data for me.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
But I need to know what I'm talking about so that it agrees with me.
Yeah.
So
like your point that you want to bring across. Yes, exactly. Because I mean, AI is robotic and it's meant to be amazing, but it does make mistakes.
Yeah, it does.
And you've got to double check it.
Totally.
But it does all the groundwork.
Yes, it does.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is a thing.
Goodness.
I'll teach you.
I've done it sometimes. Like when I analyze our social media reports, it gets very figurey, you know. As a creative, I was telling my team the other day, I was like, when I see numbers, I think I told you this too, it dances. It dances in my eyeballs.
It does, yeah.
Because I'm a creative, I like words. I'm a creative, I like visuals and color and all of that. Numbers, and a big part of reporting is numbers on social media.
Yes.
And I can't now. I can't. When I look at those reports, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so much work. Like, luckily that my team is better at numbers than I am. But sometimes I just got to put it into like an AI thing and say, analyze this and tell me in layman terms using words.
Correct.
What you mean.
That's it.
And it really does help. It helps with understanding. And I think also on the client side, they're probably just like me. They also don't understand analytics and statistics and like algorithms and everything that goes on with all of that. I'm not saying I don't understand it. Of course I do understand it. I run an agency. But sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. So even AI would help them interpret their own stats and their own behind the scenes business objectives when it comes to marketing. So, I mean, you need to tell me about that after this podcast.
I will.
Okay, so, I mean, we have established that AI will raise the standard of PR instead of making noise. But do you think that it could potentially just make noise and add no value?
Yes, I do. And I'll give you an example of where I see that happening. I don't know about you, but this is just what I've observed and it annoys me to no end. Instagram has started, even Facebook, as far as their reels go, people have started using AI and it comes up on your screen and you can see it's a robot and it just annoys me because it's so inauthentic. So, but I think that if we allow that type of content to continue being put out and somebody doesn't stop it, I mean, we're just going to contribute to the tool taking over. An interesting case study to reference in this way is I think Instagram not too long ago, they changed their format to look like TikTok.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it was the Kardashians who stood up and said, we don't want this. You know, all of us felt that way, but we needed an authoritative voice to stand up for the people and to say,
yes. And of course it's the Kardashians.
like, bring back old Instagram. Yes. And I was so happy when they did that. So I think there is an opportunity for PR people to really start leveraging their influence.
Yeah.
And to start making the noise before the tool starts making the noise.
Yeah. Yeah, adapting it in the right way. And I think what you spoke about that is AI can create faster output.
Absolutely.
Versus better thinking.
That's right.
So PR is very much thinking. It's very much intentional, thoughtful kind of output, but AI makes it faster. So the faster we're able to process stuff and the faster we're able to get things out, it can lose authenticity and it can become just noise.
Yep.
Again, on that point, quantity versus quality.
That's right.
So we do risk losing the quality when it comes to faster output, when it comes to quantity.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we need to think about. I mean, if there's any PR professionals, marketing managers watching this podcast, that is something to keep in mind. Sometimes fast is not always good.
No. And I think a key example of that is that what I've seen trending recently is, particularly amongst the millennial audience, is there's this return to old. I think everybody's gotten so tired of always being like chronically online and just everything happening at a quick fire pace. That people started saying that they want to return back to old, you know, like slow cooked meals, take long walks, spend more time with your family, shorter work days. So in that way, and that can also be linked back to food. I love to be in the kitchen. I love to cook, you know this. But healthy meals for me are a thing. I do take out sometimes, but you feel it. I can feel it in my body. Overconsumption of fast food doesn't contribute to your health. It doesn't help you feel good. So you've got to take control of it versus it taking control of you. Yeah. And I think that is the threat that people see when they see AI coming, and then they just sit back and they let it happen. Yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
It's about discipline.
100.
In all aspects of life, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so how should agencies, marketing professionals, and businesses approach AI when it comes to hiring, scaling, and productivity? And is there like a specific company or person that stands out to you that is possibly doing this right today?
Yeah, interesting question that, and actually quite a difficult one to answer, because I have looked at so many businesses, because progression is a big thing to me. And I've looked at so many businesses, and there is not one single one that I can pinpoint that I can say, you know, they're getting it right. And that's no diss to the companies. I think everybody is still trying to find their feet, and they're still trying to adapt and work with the tool and dance with the tool and find their feet. So not as yet, but I think 6 months to a year at the very least, we could have a few companies to reference to say, these guys are getting it right. Yeah. And here's the template, and everybody else is going to start following it. Yeah. But right now, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. I think AI needs a little bit more time. I think people need to learn, first of all, how to properly adopt it into their respective industry.
Yes.
Because it is very fast. But I think with fast, we all still kind of like in this like, oh my God, what is actually going on kind of feeling. So I do feel you on that. I think on that note, companies and businesses, especially me, it's about figuring and navigating through this very confusing AI journey on how we can actually use it to scale our businesses and to hire our employees and to do all of those sorts of things. But it's a learning, it's a in progress kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Okay, Mel. So is there anything that you would like to add when it comes to AI that you think we didn't touch on enough in part one?
Sure. I think that we've covered our bases here, but find creative ways to use the tool. To my point earlier, like analyzing data, but also have an understanding of what your outputs are so that you can use the tool like a best friend. You know, when you're talking to your friend and you're sharing a problem with them, and then you go, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. So know what you're putting out so that you align with the tool.
Intentional. As we say here on Mantra After Hours. On that note, what's really clear from this conversation is that AI isn't something that is happening to the PR industry. There's something happening with it.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing creativity, relationships, or strategy, but something about enhancing the way we work, think, and show up in the space. AI will continue to evolve, but the people who thrive will be the ones who stay curious, stay open, and intentional about how they use it, rather than fearing it or ignoring it altogether. In part 2 with Melissa Pardia, we will be shifting the focus from tools to people and talking about multi-skilling and how we navigate in an industry that's asking more of us than ever before. On that note, Melissa Pardia, can you tell everybody where they can find you on the socials, on the LinkedIn, everywhere?
Yeah. So I'm melissa.pardia on my Instagram. I'm also Melissa Pardia on LinkedIn. I'm not really active on X. I think it's quite a dark space. Don't add me on Facebook. I'm joking. I'm never on there.
Thank you very much for being here on part 1.
Yeah.
We will be back in 2 weeks' time for part 2, and we'll see you next time after hours.